Hello friends, today we are going to learn essentials of valid contract. Different sections of the Indian Contract Act lay down the essential elements of the contract. These are the 10 essentialities of the valid contract. First one is offer and acceptance. Or we can say proposal and acceptance. Offer is nothing but proposal. When one person signifies to another his willingness to do or not to do a particular thing with a view to obtaining the assent of the other person, such act is called as a making proposal. Okay. That is the offer given by one party to the another. In a simple word, if I say that I am ready to sell my Maruti car for rupees 80,000, will you purchase it? This is the offer of A to the B. Okay, this is the offer from A to B. And B voluntarily says that yes, I am ready to purchase your car for 80,000. This is a acceptance from the B side. So there are two parties. One is the person who is giving the proposal or offering something, and another one is the acceptor who is accepting the offer as it is. Okay, as it is. So here, this is the first essentiality. There should be offer and there should be acceptance to form the contract. Next comes a lawful consideration. What is this consideration? Consideration is nothing but something in return. Something in return. Suppose the seller who wants to sell the goods and the buyer who wants to buy the goods. The seller will sell those goods for the price, that is the consideration. That is the consideration. And the buyer is ready to pay the price because he wants the goods as a consideration. So both the parties are promising to each other that one party is ready to sell and another party is ready to buy in consideration of the goods and the price for each other. So agreement, it doesn't have any consideration. Okay, then that is a void agreement or void contract. Are you getting? So here, if I am using lawful consideration, means the consideration, that is something in return, should be lawful. Should be lawful. If A agrees to sell his house to B for rupees 10,000, here A's promise to sell his house to B, okay, B, for what? For the consideration of rupees 10,000. And here B's promise is that to pay the 10,000 and A's promise is to that to sell his house. So for A, 10,000 will be the consideration, and for B, the house of A will be the consideration. Are you getting? So an agreement is a contract only if it is made for a lawful consideration and with a lawful object. A contract without consideration is void. Consideration must be there. Are you getting? Now third comes the legal relationship. Legal relationship. Agreement which create legal relations or are capable of creating legal relations are called as a contract. Okay, so if I given the example, an invitation to a dinner does not create any legal relation, so it is not at all a contract. It is not at all a contract. There must be the common intention of the parties who are entering into the contract to create the legal relations in order to constitute a contract. Agreements to buy and sell, agreement to marry, agreement to create the legal relationship. Okay, sorry, agreement to you can say buy a particular home, to buy any goods. Okay, such agreements create the legal relationship. So those are the valid contracts. The presumption of this legal relationship is generally referred in the commercial agreements. Commercial agreements. Why? Because such promises, okay, create the legal obligation on both the parties. On both the parties. So some domestic type agreements or the social agreements like invitation to a dinner or invitation to the marriage or invitation to stay with the friend or promise of a father to give an award of 10,000 if the son stood first ranker in the university. Such agreements do not create any legal obligations on the parties. Those do not create any legal obligations between the parties. So there is not at all a contract. The next comes free consent. Free consent. Parties to the contract must give their free consent. So parties must be ad adam. Ad adam means their mind must be matching. Okay, their mind must be meeting with the same subject matter. Both the parties must be agree upon the same thing in the same sense. That is also called as a conscious ad adam. That is also called as a conscious ad adam. I would like to give one example. Suppose I have 4 cars. I have 4 cars. Different cars are there. Out of those 4 cars, I intend to sell Maruti car. I intend to sell Maruti car for rupees 2 lakhs. Okay. And the purchaser he is presuming that I am going to sell Honda City for 2 lakhs. So there is not at all the matching of mind. There not at all the matching of mind. The ad adam, that is conscious ad adam, is absent there. Okay. So whenever the parties are entering into the contract, their consent must be free one. Only mere consent is not enough. Consent of the parties must be free. It must not have been obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation or mistake. आता याचा अर्थ काय होतो बघा. फ्री कन्सेंट याचा अर्थ काय? कुठलाही पार्टी जेव्हा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये एंटर होत असतात तेव्हा दोन्हीही पार्टीची जी संमती आहे ती फ्रीली दिली गेली पाहिजे. ती फ्रीली दिली गेली पाहिजे. म्हणजे त्याच्यामध्ये कुठलंही कोर्शन, फसवणूक असता कामा नये. त्याच्यामध्ये कुठलाही एखाद्या पार्टीचं वर्चस्व आहे आणि त्या वर्चस्वाचा गैरफायदा, अंडू इन्फ्लुएन्स घेऊन एखादी कन्सेंट घेतली असेल तर असंही कन्सेंट घेतलं तर ते कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट हे व्हॅलिड नाहीये. किंवा फ्रॉड न जर एखादं कन्सेंट घेतली पार्टीची, त्याला फसवून त्याचं फ्रॉड न, तर ऑब्विसली तिथं सुद्धा कन्सेंट ही फ्री नाहीये. किंवा मिसरिप्रेझेंटेशन, एखाद्या वस्तूचं सपोज ती आहे इंडिया मेड आणि तुम्ही सांगताय की इट इज मेड इन अमेरिका, इट इज मेड इन इंग्लंड आणि म्हणून त्याची किंमत तुम्ही जास्त लावताय, तर समोरच्या पार्टीला तुम्ही काय करताय, फसवताय, मिसरिप्रेझेंट करताय आणि अशा पद्धतीनं त्याच्याकडनं पैसे किंवा प्राइस मोठी काढून घेताय. सो दॅट इज नॉट एट ऑल द फ्री कन्सेंट. येते लक्षात तुम्हाला? तर ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी जर त्या ऍग्रीमेंट मध्ये असतील, काय काय, कोर्शन, अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएन्स, फ्रॉड, मिसरिप्रेझेंटेशन आणि मिस्टेक असतील तर ते कन्सेंट हे फ्री नाही. ओके. आता दुसरा पार्ट काय येतो, कॉम्पिटंट पार्टीज. द पार्टीज टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मस्ट बी कॉम्पिटंट. त्यालाच आपण दुसरं नाव कॅपॅसिटी ऑफ द पार्टीज असं देऊ शकतो. Section 11 of the Act states that every person is competent to contract who is of the age of majority. आता भारतातला जो कायदा आहे, भारतातला जो कायदा आहे त्या कायद्याप्रमाणे 18 वर्षाच्या वरील मुलं, 18 वर्षाच्या वरील मुलं ही मेजर आहेत आणि दे कॅन एंटर इन टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. दे कॅन एंटर इन टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. द पर्सन who should be of a sound mind. Sound mind म्हणजे तो वेडा असला नाही पाहिजे, तो इन्सेन असला नाही पाहिजे, तो लुनॅटिक असला नाही पाहिजे, तो इडियट नाही असला पाहिजे. येते लक्षात? तरच तो ही इज अ इलिजिबल पर्सन ऑर द कॉम्पिटंट पर्सन टू एंटर इन टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. मग हु आर नॉट इलिजिबल टू एंटर इन टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट, तर जी लोक मायनर आहे, मायनर म्हणजे बिलो 18 आहे. आपल्या भारतातलं जर आपण विचार केला तर बिलो 18 आहे. दोज पर्सन हु आर इन्सेन म्हणजे वेडे आहेत, ल्युनॅटिक आहेत किंवा काही काही वेळेला वेडाचे झटके येतात, अशा लोकांनी जर कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट केलं तर ते व्हॅलिड नाही. किंवा भारतातल्या काही कायद्यांनी काही लोकांना डिस्क्वालिफाय केलं, कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये एंटर होण्यासाठी डिस्क्वालिफाय केलं. उदाहरणार्थ कसं, तर अलाइन एनिमी. अलाइन एनिमी म्हणजेच काय, जेव्हा युद्ध पुकारलं जातं, भारत आणि पाकिस्तान किंवा कुठल्याही देशाशी जेव्हा युद्ध पुकारलं जातं तेव्हा दोन्हीही देशातले जे सिटिझन्स आहेत ते एकमेकांशी ट्रेड करू शकत नाहीत जोपर्यंत युद्ध आहे. पण एकदा का युद्ध संपलं, दोन्ही गव्हर्नमेंटने डिक्लेअर केले की आता युद्ध संपलंय, तर आहेत ते अग्रीमेंट ते कॅरी करू शकतात. येते लक्षात तुम्हाला? म्हणून अग्रीमेंट विथ द अलाइन एनिमी इज अ वाईड. त्याच्याशी कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट झालं तर ते काय म्हणतो आपण, व्हॅलिड कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट नाहीये. दुसरं म्हणजे एखाद्या वेड्याशी केलेलं कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट हे काय आहे, वाईड आहे, ते पण व्हॅलिड होऊ शकत नाही. एखाद्या मायनरशी केलेलं कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट हे काय आहे, वाईड आहे, कारण मायनरशी कोणीही कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट करू शकत नाही. साधं उदाहरण घ्या, एखाद्या मायनरनं जो 18 वर्षाच्या खाली आहे आणि त्यांनी जर लोन काढलं, 1 लाख रुपयाचं लोन काढलंय असं समजा, जेव्हा तो मायनर होता, ठीक आहे. आता त्यानं लोन काढलेलं आहे, 1 वर्षानंतर परत देतो म्हणून सांगितलेलं आहे. ही इज द बॉरोवर, बट नाव ही इज रेफ्युजिंग टू रिपे दॅट लोन. Can the person who has laid the loan amount to that minor recover that loan? No, he cannot recover that, because the loan given to that minor when he was below 18, he was a minor. So the law always protect to the minor. The major person cannot recover that amount from the minor, even though the minor is having sufficient amount, sufficient property to repay it. He may take a plea that he was a minor when he has taken the loan. Okay, he can refuse to repay it. So minor is also not a competent party to enter into the contract. One more thing, the person who is convicted, की ज्याला शिक्षा झाली आहे, त्याच्यावरचे आरोप सिद्ध झालेले आहेत, त्याला शिक्षा झालेली आहे आणि तो आता तुरुंगात आहे, अशा वेळेला अशा लोकांबरोबर किंवा अशा व्यक्तीबरोबर कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट करू शकता का कोणी? तर नाही. ही इज डिस्क्वालिफाईड फ्रॉम एंटरिंग इन टू द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट. त्याला डिस्क्वालिफाय केलेलं आहे. येते लक्षात? का तर तो कन्व्हिक्टेड आहे, तो गुन्हेगार आहे, त्याच्यावरचे जे आरोप आहेत ते सिद्ध झालेले आहेत. येते लक्षात? म्हणून I would like to give one example here. When this, when one of the hero, I will not utter the name, one of the hero, when he was arrested and he was convicted, okay, under a particular terrorist and all such crimes, okay. So the filmmakers, the producers of the film, okay, whatever they have signed the agreements, those are all, were all suspended because he is not competent person to carry on the particular contract. Are you getting? So these things are there in the competency. So who are the competent ones? Again, I will tell you: a major person, a sane person, okay, and the person who is not at all disqualified by the laws in that particular country. Okay. The next point comes a lawful objective. The object, that is the subject matter and the object or the purpose of the contract must be lawful. Okay, must be lawful. What is the lawful again? Means the subject matter, or we can say, or the purpose of that particular contract must be legal one. That must be lawful one. Suppose I would like to give one example here. The person who is having a big property, okay, and he is the landlord, and he has given a particular, you can say, property for the illegal acts, knowingly, because he knows that whatever the activities are going on in his property, those are illegal one. Can he recover that particular rent in a court of law if they fail to give the rent? No, because the purpose of the contract or the objective of the contract is itself ab initio void. Okay, because it is illegal. For the illegal purpose, he has given his particular property on the rent, so he cannot recover that rent. Are you getting? So whatever object of the contract, that must be legal one. Okay, so can be the objective of the parties. Suppose 4 people came together and they are entered into the contract and they are doing a partnership business by making the robbery. Okay, robbery, they are indulging in the robbery and they want to share whatever the properties they have robbed or whatever the ornaments they have robbed from the different homes. Is it the lawful object? No. So such contracts are ab initio void because the objective of the contract is unlawful. Suppose A entered into the contract to set B's house on the fire. Is it the valid contract? No, because the object of the contract is illegal. So every contract's objective must be lawful one. The next one is an agreement must not be declared as a void. A void agreement is not enforceable by law. It has no legal sanctity. It does not give rise to any rights and obligations to the parties. Void agreements are not enforceable by law as they are opposed to the public policy. So which are such particular agreements? Agreements in restraint of trade, agreement in restraint of marriages, agreements in restraint of legal proceedings. All these agreements are void. Those are not enforceable. Because when the Constitution of India is giving the fundamental right to every citizen to start the trade, then how can there be the contract in restraint of trade? Can anyone restrict someone from doing the trade? No. Are you getting? So such agreements are declared by the law itself as a void. If the legal proceeding is going on, okay, can anyone enter into the contract to stop that legal proceeding? No. It is not possible. If such agreements are there, those are ab initio declared as a void agreement. Okay. The next point comes certainty. What is this certainty? The terms of the contract should be clear. The terms of the contract must be clear. In other words, the contract must not be vague, this or that. Okay, no, there should not be any ambiguity. Contracts which are vague cannot be enforced. Such contract can be avoided by showing that there is ambiguity. In such case, there is nothing which either party can enforce. What is uncertainty means what? Ambiguity, संदिग्धता. काही कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये संदिग्धता असते, सर्टॅनिटी नसते. असं झालं तर तसं, तसं झालं तर असं. दोज आर द अनसर्टन, दोज आर द अनसर्टन. सो ज्या कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये सर्टॅनिटी नाही असे सर्व कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट हे काय आहेत? इलिगल म्हणता येणार नाही, पण व्हॅलिड नाहीये, व्हॅलिड नाहीये. सो वन्स अगेन, द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट्स विच आर वेग कॅन नॉट बी इन्फोर्स्ड. सच कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट्स can be avoided with the reason having ambiguity. The next point comes possibility of performance. Contracts on the impossibility of performance are not valid. So the contracts can be only for those activities which can be performed. A contracts must be capable of being performed. Okay, supplying the goods, that activity can be performed. Okay, giving the price, activity can be performed. Construction of the house, the activity can be performed. Okay, but if I would like to, if I given you the example, A promises to share with B. A promises to share with B 50% of the treasure. Okay, treasure means something having ornaments and all. If B creates a treasure by magic, जादूनं जर तू करता एखादा ट्रेझर आणलास आणि त्यातलं जे काही मिळेल त्यातलं 50-50% आपण पार्टनरशिप करून शेअर करूया. आता ही पॉसिबल आहे का? जादूनं एखादं ट्रेझर येऊ शकतं का? नाही ना. किंवा अशी पॉसिबिलिटी बघा, सपोज आय एम अ पर्सन, आय एम सेइंग दॅट I am entering into the contract and saying that give me 5 lakhs rupees, I will make live to this dead body. Is it possible for me after receiving, because doctor has already declared that the body, the person is died, and I am saying that I am entering into the contract, give me 5 lakhs rupees, I will make him or her live. Is there possibility of performance? No. So here there will not be the valid contract. And the last one is stamping and registration. Stamping and registration. A contract, in order to be valid, must be stamped in accordance with the state of law and registered in accordance with the Registration Act, that is 1908. A document which is not registered, neither shall it affect any immovable property, nor shall it be received as a evidence. Because suppose if you are purchasing Colgate paste, if you are purchasing pen, book, notebook, any small bag having its price very low, we never stamp it or we never register it. Okay, but when we talking about the immovable properties like home, like agricultural land, like plots, like that, okay, these are having very huge prices. Okay, so obviously this needs the stamping and registration to prove the evidence of the ownership. So this is in case of only immovable properties, stamping and registration, where the prices are very high, and it is if any of the party, okay, if any of the party is in burden of proof lies on the party that that property is belonging to him or her, then obviously there should be the proof, there should be the evidence of the document, and that's why stamping and registration is compulsory. Hope you have all understood this particular essentialities of the valid contract. Okay, without these essentialities, the contract will not be treated as a valid contract. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe this channel, and you can just pass on comments, and if you want to ask any questions, you can write it down in the comment box. This will be cleared in the next lecture. Thank you very much.